Support for Modern Love comes from Living Proof. How long can you go between washes? Keep your hair cleaner longer while washing less for beautiful, healthier hair. Use the code LOVE at livingproof.com for a free travel-size dry shampoo with your $20 order. We are the science. You are the living proof. And by Helix Sleep. Working with the world's leading sleep scientists, Helix Sleep has developed custom mattresses that bring a reported 30% improvement in overall sleep quality. Visit helixsleep.com/modern to get $50 off your order.
From the New York Times and WBUR Boston, this is Modern Love. Stories of love, loss, and redemption. I'm your host, Meghna Chakrabarty. When she logged on to Match.com, writer Eleanor Lipman didn't know what to expect. Internet dating wasn't even around when she'd met her first husband. But no matter your age, dating is complicated. Here's Emmy Award-winning actor Sela Ward. You may know her from her roles in Gone Girl and The Fugitive, reading Eleanor Lipman's essay, Taking a Break for Friendship.
At 59, I was a new widow, writing a novel about a new widow who was socially maladroit. When her story started to stagnate, I knew I had to get her out of the house. Me too. I signed us both up for Match.com. Dates followed. Not all were horrible, but the reporter in me liked the worst ones for their anecdotal value. There was the man who stuck his Nicorette gum under his seat, the 70-ish actor who'd been among the 6 husbands and one of the Golden Girls, and the guy who asked me, proudly, if I had noticed that he stirred his coffee without the spoon touching the cup. I had not. Okay, I decided to drop out. Just before hitting the remove button of Match.com, I remembered I was mining comically bad biographical bits for fictional use, and I should stick with it. So for the first time in weeks, I checked that day's menu of allegedly suitable suitors and spotted Jonathan, who looked nice and geographically convenient to my New York City block. So I clicked on his profile. His personal statement said he had lots of friends, but was ready for something serious. There were no deal breakers in any of his answers to favorite activities, hobbies, food, and places. He was neither vegetarian nor vegan nor kosher nor unduly athletic. So I scrolled to Last Book Read, where most men wrote, I only read technical journals, or The Da Vinci Code. His answer, and possibly shockingly, was my most recent novel. So after I had recovered, I wrote him with the book's title in the subject line, and below that only, thank you. That was lovely to see. He answered that evening in a manner I considered appropriate and sincere. The writing wasn't self-important, and he knew how to use a semicolon. So after another exchange of emails, we made a date for dinner. Against the common internet wisdom that you meet just for a drink and fear of dud potential. He had a British accent and a master's degree. His manners were impeccable, his job interesting, and he was originally from Liverpool, the epicenter of baby boomer girls' first crushes. So 3 enjoyable, in my opinion, hours later, as he walked me the 2 blocks to my apartment, I asked how he got to work, and he explained by bus, either the M66 or M72. Well, a public transportation aficionado myself, I was smitten. After a peck on the lips and a promise to call, he jumped onto the M57. A chaste yet promising beginning. Or so I thought. Oh, our second date felt odd. Might it have been my talking about my late husband? I don't know. He didn't seem to be feeling as preordained as I was, nor did I detect any enthusiasm in his follow-up to my thank you email. So each time I resigned myself to never hearing from him again, he would write. "Are these dates?" my friends would ask. "Well, they're date-like," I would answer, referring to Jonathan as my imaginary boyfriend, my insignificant other, my friend without benefits. So while these married girlfriends enjoyed their front row seats in the arena of middle-aged dating, they resented his annoying failure to fall in love with me. They had never met him, but thought he should be thanking his lucky stars. And he wasn't. A few patient and hopeful ones, I called them the yes team, excused the glacial pace with, "Don't forget, he's British." 13 months of suboptimal dating passed. Several times I announced I couldn't see him anymore because I had feelings for him that weren't reciprocated. That went nowhere. If he looked, in my opinion, stricken, I would take it back. Finally, we had words, harsh ones, via email. He said I made him nervous, that I wasn't his girlfriend, that I was deluding myself. I asked him not to reply to my hot-headed rant of an answer. 6 months went by. Halfway through, I sent a white flag of a postcard, without an ulterior motive, just because I had unsettled myself with my own rude words. I wrote, "This is no way to end a friendship or the year. Come for a drink." Several days later, he wrote that he thought it best if he didn't, but he wished me well. Okay, that was fine. I had acquitted myself in relatively menschy fashion, done and dusted. But here's where it pays not to hold a grudge. 6 months after the email squabble, on the year's first warm and beautiful April day, my email pinged on my way to meet a friend, a Yes Team member, for a walk. It was Jonathan, inviting me to an art opening that night. "Maybe meet there at 7, then we have a bite afterward. Call if I could." I couldn't meet then, so I called him back anyway in generally affable fashion because of my balmy weather mood and because I'd given up on girlfriendhood. "You'll go to your thing and I'll go to mine, and we could text when leaving." I added, "But if you get a better offer, by all means." "I won't get a better offer," he said firmly. Oh my, did that sound... Never mind. I couldn't be a tad flirtatious, not him. We did meet after our respective receptions. No wonder the old delusional me had liked him so much. What a pleasant, interesting conversation we two platonics were having over hummus. So much easier to be friends without romantic expectations, bygones. First thing in the morning, a warmer than usual thank you email arrived. Before noon, he invited me to a work-related event the next night, apologizing for the late notice. Okay, why play hard to get with a pal? So I went. This friendship mode was just so much easier than angst. Why hadn't I accepted the case study straight out of "He's just not that into you" during Jonathan 1.0? Well, all evening I was authentically chipper. And after laughing at one of his remarks, I murmured, "Please don't be Ryan Charming." And he smiled, seemingly aware that such appeal could push the old buttons I wanted to dispossess. Soon I published a book of essays, including one about my PG love life, largely on the topic of him. I named him John Doe, and the essay, A Fine Nomance. It put a good face on our relationship, suggesting that abstinence was just what I needed in my delicate state. I had written the piece during our time off, now known as the interregnum. The essay was fond in tone and in places complimentary, although quotes from the No Team might have made another man, one less secure about his heterosexuality, take offense. He bought the collection containing the John Doe quasi-tribute and asked me to inscribe it. So I write, I hope no bloke will be hurt in the reading of this book. I was out of town when he emailed that he had read the essay, found it elegantly written, and would like to talk about it when I returned. Elegantly written, how bad could that be? I wrote back, Phew, I was worried. I had smoked salmon and chilled wine ready for whatever our talk was going to be, and sitting at my dining room table, he solemnly announced that he didn't want to just be friends anymore. He explained he had read the essay once, then a second time, then the whole collection, and asked himself, what am I, an idiot? I like to say that was British, for finally I realized I love you after all. No longer just friends meant we would be a real couple. I blurted out that I might be shy about that other stuff, the benefits, but of course, the perfect gentleman exclaimed. 2 days later at the movies, while his visiting college-age son took a bathroom break, I whispered, I'm going to say something flirtatious now. Jonathan said, I'm listening. That thing I told you about being shy, I changed my mind. We'll address that on Tuesday, he said. And we did. That was 2+ years ago, or counting back to the first date, 4 years ago. I don't regret the hiatus or even the email fight that caused it, because who knows what calculus of time and space and dud dates in between led to where we are now. I don't ask for explanations. I just sum it up borrowing a line from Sex and the City. The taxi was going by, it just didn't have its light on. We live a mile apart, 10 minutes from door to door on the M57 bus, and now I call him my beau, my person, my boyfriend, my significant Jonathan. He introduces me as his partner. Every member of the former No team dotes on him. Among the gains, new friends and new attachments, including his hometown mates. I have adopted the Liverpool Football Club as my own. If we're not watching the match together, we text, then confer when it's over. Goal of the week, man of the match. I'm completely committed, finally understanding why it's called the beautiful game. And when the spectators break into our anthem, You'll Never Walk Alone, I'm moved to tears.
Sela Ward reading Eleanor Lipman's essay, Taking a Break for Friendship. She stars in the epic series Graves, which was just renewed for its second season. When we come back, we'll check in with Eleanor Lipman. Is her significant Jonathan still in the picture?
Living Proof products save time. Just ask Tyler from New York.
I have probably been able to save about 30 minutes per day when I use it. I usually shower every morning. My hair gets greasy very quickly. So if I shower one morning and not the next, I cannot go to work like that. So it allows me to sleep in an extra 30 minutes. I just get up, put the dry shampoo in my hair, and off I go, which is amazing.
Use the code LOVE at livingproof.com for a free travel-size dry shampoo with your $20 order.
We're back. It's Modern Love, the podcast. I'm Meghna Chakrabarti. 5 years after their first date, Eleanor and Jonathan are still together. She says that when it comes to long-term relationships and dating, things are just different when you're older.
One of the things that at our ages that makes this so really happy for me is all you want is just to like, love, fall in love, be happy with, be content. As opposed to when I was 20, 21, 22, it's would this be the person I would marry? And the goal is just happiness and compatibility. And I hope compatibility doesn't make me sound like an old lady, but, just we have fun together, and he's interested in what I do, and I'm very interested in what he does, and that's a lovely thing.
And so, what about marriage?
I say to my married friends, how would you like if you had this lovely relationship and he lived a mile away and you saw him during the week once or twice and weekends, but you didn't have to live together? And they all say, oh, boy, sounds perfect. So I would say if there was a compelling reason that had to do with distance or health, then possible. But I also think that it's just right.
Eleanor's son fully supports her relationship, and she hopes her late husband Bob would too.
I think about that, of course. I would say, my well-meaning friends say, I think Bob would be very happy for you. I mean, I think that he did have a little streak of jealousy, and, it might not be his favorite thing. But, in a more perfect heaven, if there was a heaven, yes, I think he would be very happy.
Writer Eleanor Lipman. She lives in New York, still just a few blocks from Jonathan. The couple will be making their 4th visit to Jonathan's hometown of Liverpool this summer, and he will be her +1 at her son's wedding in May. Eleanor's most recent essay collection is I Can't Complain, all too personal essays. Her 14th book, a novel titled Turpentine Lane, will be out on Valentine's Day. Up next, Daniel Jones, editor of Modern Love for the New York Times. We'll be right back.
Support for Modern Love comes from Helix Sleep. Working with the world's leading sleep scientists, Helix Sleep has developed custom mattresses that bring a reported 30% improvement in overall sleep quality. Visit helixsleep.com/modern, answer a few simple questions, and they'll create your completely customized mattress, starting at just $600, and ship it right to your door for free. You get a 100-night risk-free trial, and for you modern couples, they can customize each side. Go to helixsleep.com/modern and get $50 off your order. That's helixsleep.com/modern.
Daniel Jones is editor of Modern Love for the New York Times. He says that a reluctance to romantically commit is a popular theme in the column. But depending on your age, that reluctance is born from very different places.
There's just so much to this essay to love. I mean, I do think in midlife, after you've been through, long relationships, I think there can be a real hesitancy. You know what that kind of commitment is like and what it turns into, and there can be a real hesitancy to sort of pass that border. It can be really fun getting to know people, but there's a real awareness that once you get past the casual and once you get past the friendship, that there's a lot at stake.
Dan Jones, editor of Modern Love for the New York Times. Many thanks to Sela Ward for reading this week's essay. Here's why she did.
I chose this particular essay because it's all about possibility. And we need that. And we need that as we get older. And it's full of love, life, and possibility. And we can't live life without it. It's a delicious little story.
You can see Sela in the new epic series Graves, where she plays a former First Lady with political ambitions of her own. The first season is streaming now, and the second season will be out later this year. We'll link to a trailer at our website, wbur.org/modernlove. Next week on Modern Love, Scandal actress Darby Stanchfield.
I looked at Dad. He looked at me. I knew why he'd taken the shot, as did he. Every goose seems like the last he'll ever shoot, and it may very well be, at least with his daughter watching.
If you want to see Modern Love in action, mark your calendar. We're doing a live show at Boston's Wilbur Theater on February 14th, Valentine's Day. I'll be there with Dan Jones, and we'll be joined by actors Emmy Rossum and Alicia Reiner, who will be performing essays. Don't miss it. There's more info at wbur.org/modernlove. Modern Love is a production of The New York Times and WBUR, Boston's NPR station. It's produced, directed, and edited by Jessica Alpert, John Parati, and Amory Sievertson. We received extra help this week from producer Catherine Brewer. The idea for the Modern Love podcast was conceived by Lisa Tobin. Our casting consultant is Amy Lippens, CSA. Iris Adler is our executive producer. Daniel Jones is the editor of Modern Love for The New York Times and advisor to the show. Music for the podcast, courtesy of APM. Special thanks to Jerry Marsden from Jerry and the Pacemakers for allowing us to use this version of You'll Never Walk Alone. I'm Meghna Chakrabarti. See you next week.